Hello everyone and welcome to the Random Championship Series Gold Knights Golden Under Tournament for today, February the 4th, Saturday, February the 14th. My name is Streetful and I'm casting alongside Sword of Lighting. How you doing tonight, Sword?
I'm doing pretty good. I know, watching some LCS. Now we're casting some great games right now, and I'm just excited. And bans are already going down right now.
Yeah, it actually worked out pretty perfectly, of course, while we were setting up and stuff, watching some LCS, and it ended pretty much just in time to start this tournament here, so it's like it was planned. And we see actually an Ari and J4 ban coming out early here. Now, Ari was actually just buffed previous, she was changed and buffed, and now she was actually just nerfed in the 5.3 patch. So even though she was kind of a standard pick or ban, could even be first pick, blind picked in mid lane and things like that, she's kind of not as strong as she used to be before. They definitely nerfed. Of course, they increased the mana cost on her Q, nerfed the damage as well as the range of her W, as well as the range of her R, her jump around there, her ultimate. So not as strong as she was right after those buffs.
Exactly, and I mean the J4 Gnar, very standard bans I would say right now. Gnar is always that very strong, kind of obedient top lane pick. You could pick it into really naturally anything. Same with J4. J4 is just that standard jungler everybody likes. But the Nidalee being banned out, she actually has received so much buffs with regard to her jungle clear and being able to just be such a strong pick for a jungler now that it's caused a ban. I know I've seen it a lot in high elo, even in the European scene. It's just working wonders, I must say.
Yeah, absolutely. Wanting to get rid of that J4 and Gnar, the Narvin combo there. So it seems like they're kind of going with let's get rid of the flavor of the month type stuff. Like you said, Nidalee Jungle is probably the kind of the hottest pick right now in terms of jungle, in terms of pro play. So the J4, the Gnar, and the Nidalee being kicked out right away. The Vi and the Akali being kicked out for... Oh, I forgot to mention these teams, by the way. On the blue side, we have... They've named themselves TSM, so we're not going to call them TSM because, kind of in respect to Team Solo Mid, we'll call them TSM Light. So TSM Light on the blue side here, and Never Pull Out on the purple side. And it looks like we have a first pick Graves here for TSM Light, so opting to take that strong AD carry on the first pick. Don't care about what's going to be picked against it, they're happy with the Graves.
Yeah, the great early game, and his burst as well. If you put some sort of kind of early support as well, like a Liana in there, even a Janna I would say would work. Has the knockup and CC as well as damage, but never go in just sticking with their philosophy, like their team name says. A Mumu, all the CC for those great engages, and Caitlyn to sit in the back just firing shots in every 6 auto attack. That headshot doing a significant amount of damage is such a great kind of counter to Graves, especially since, like I said, Caitlyn does have that long range. Graves has to get in range for his burst. Caitlyn will be able to put down a few shots of her own before Graves gets there.
Yeah, exactly like you were mentioning before when you were talking about the Graves pick, that Leona would be a strong pick alongside it, because Graves, you really kind of just want to blow people up as early as possible. And like you were mentioning, Caitlyn a great pick against that, because Graves has such a short auto attack range. Caitlyn's really going to be able to poke him pretty strong and should be able to out-trade him as long as he doesn't get Leona engaged on top of Caitlyn and whoever her support is. So like you were saying, having that strong engaged support with the big burst coming out from Graves should be able to deal with Caitlyn, but Caitlyn is a very good pick against the Graves for early game.
And it's actually going into it, we talked about how the engage, like you're just saying right now, Liana engage. I'm expecting to see a lot of Flash Zenith plays actually maybe a bit early on. I know that a lot of people like doing that recently now. I don't know why, but it's very good, especially if you can get it down, blow a few flashes. But not just that, the Pantheon's in the mix there as well. His ultimate synergizes so well with Solar Flare. He's just going to be able to ult in, like, in the dark and well in the mist. He will have a lot of roaming potential as well. He does have that stun early on as well, so he won't just be waiting till level 6. He will be roaming around a lot. I'm going to expect to see him roaming a lot more than a Mumu, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and what I want to see coming out from Never Pull Out right here is a Janna. A Janna would be really strong for their team right now, not only to protect against the Leona, but like you said, the Pantheon as well. The combo of Leona ultimate with the Pantheon ultimate, they both have stuns and engages on top of their drop-down ultimates like that, top of their placement ultimates. So having a kind of reset in the Janna Monsoon, push back in the Tornado, some shields, helping Caitlyn trade effectively in lane there, I think that would be really strong for the side of Never Pull Out, because they do have pretty much a jump on you and blow you up immediately combo started for TSM Light.
Yeah, and we're looking at it right now. The Yasuo actually looks like it's going to get locked in. It will. And I mean, with the Jenna brings up all these sort of knockups as well. So she would synergize so well with the Yasuo as well. Like you said, the disengage is much needed on this team. But if you look, they picked up the Darius, which is, to me, a very bold pickup, at least. There are other people that can kind of counter him right now, I would say. Lissandra is one of them. Very strong initiator, and she does have that long range as well. But it looks like they're going to hover over the Renekton and Katarina, which I also agree with. A lot of damage, a lot of tankiness, and the early lane aggression as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Never Pull Out picked their top and their mid laner as their third and fourth pick. It allowed TSM Light to counterpick the two solo laners. Now, they might not exactly straight up counterpick, but allows them to see what they're going to be facing in those two solo lanes, where the side of Never Pull Out was just like, all right, Darius versus whatever, Yasuo versus whatever. We don't care what you're picking. Those are our two picks as solo laners. We want those right away. And like I was saying, I really would have liked to see possibly a Janna pick beforehand, but as someone who doesn't own nearly close to all the champions, I can understand if they're picking in a different order and are not picking based on that because they can't swap. Not everyone owns all the champions, things like that. So we have to take that into account as well. This isn't pro level play where everyone owns all the champions and we're picking in strategic orders. Some people are just like, well, I have to pick my champion because I don't own any other ones. So that might be the case here for Never Pull Out. But a pretty strong, like we said, just basically a jump on you and blow you up immediately combo for TSM Light.
And actually, the wind will be very good with Katarina. If Katarina decides to go for an all-in, she's going to need a little bit of backup because her ultimate can be kind of stopped by the Yasuo wind wall as well as the Q, her bouncing blade. So a lot of damage negated. But like I said, I expect Pantheon to roam, and maybe even Liana will roam around. We've seen a lot of supports roaming around recently, especially in competitive play and high-ranked play. It seems like it's the new kind of must-have for supports to be able to roam. But talking about supports now, we see the Morgana getting hovered, which I very much like. The Black Shield to negate a lot. Oh, switches on me. Blitzcrank. I'll let you talk about the Blitzcrank a bit because I see you folding your hands a bit.
Yeah, I'm not. That was kind of like you were saying. You're like, Morgana's pretty good. I like that Morgana as well. I was just thinking, like I said, Janna would be my first pick, but Morgana kind of covers that as well. She's got some decent disengage. She's got a Black Shield to help against the Zenith Blade because, of course, it's not going to stop you. If you throw the Black Shield onto Caitlyn, she's not going to be able to get slowed or this story. I guess locked in place by that Zenith Blade and not be allowed to follow up on the Q from Leona. You can't get that wombo going. But the Blitzcrank, the only thing that I don't like about the Blitzcrank is Blitz is going to need to either grab Katarina or Graves, which both of them have ways to jump or dash away from that pull. You don't really want to pull the Lissandra because she can just ult herself or ult someone else or Zonia's or do something. She doesn't really want to be pulled into the group. Pantheon can kind of just jump on you. Leona that wants to be in your group anyway, so I don't really like that Blitzcrank pick right there. Let's see how they can use it. If they can get a nice pull when Lissandra's ult is down before she gets Zonia's, after Katarina uses her Shun Post so she actually has no escape. But I don't like that last pick Blitzcrank for the side of Never Pull Out.
I have to agree with you here because Blitzcrank, the Morgana, like I said, the Black Shield's so good. And it's not just the Black Shield, the Snare is also incredible. It stops the engaging they have as well as, her ultimate is so good for lockdown as well, especially with this team that just wants to go into your face, right? But, I mean, the Blitzcrank, they can just engage off that hook so easily. But, we have seen a lot of good kind of hooks or people with good hooking abilities with, Thresh and Blitzcrank kind of being the rise right now, I would say. So I don't know, maybe Taco will be this almighty Blitzcrank god that we haven't seen yet, and he'll take us by storm.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely, and I say this every single time, but comfort over meta, comfort over counter, comfort over everything. If you are comfortable on that champion and you're like, I'm a Blitzcrank main, that's my guy to go to on support, then sure, pick Blitzcrank, even when I don't think it's the best pick, even when there's better champions. If you can play Blitzcrank better than you can play Janna, then even though I'd like that Janna, go with the Blitzcrank. And like you said, we might be seeing some amazing hooks. Now there is also, this is kind of weird to talk about, but also Blitz has a knock-up with his E, so that could work with Yasuo, I guess. There's a bit of synergy in that, but not exactly what you'd want. Something like a Malphite ultimate would be really nice, or like we mentioned before, Tornado from Janna, that's easy peasy, and the cooldown is super slow. You can cast it from the back and get some safer ultimates from Yasuo in there. So we should have Kate safely in the back there, but who knows, you could have some nice double pull action, Blitzcrank pulls, Darius pulls, make some sort of pick happen early, because if they do get a pick, it's going to be way harder for TSM Light to kind of activate their wombo combo, blow you up immediately comp, which really seems to be what they're going for. Never Pull Out has a couple more options, but I still think the kind of pick ban phase goes over to the side of TSM Light for this round.
I do agree with you. They did pick their solo lanes last, like you said, and it seems to be more in their favor. And something actually I want to touch upon is the mid lane. If you look at Yasuo, he ran the Ignite, and I find that interesting because he does want to burst down the Katarina. But once he says, let's say he knocks her up with his third Q, and then boom, he's ulting Katarina. What happens if Katarina still has about half health left? She can just ult for free practically because maybe his wind wall is down, or maybe, he won't have time to activate his wind wall right away, which means a lot of free damage from Katarina. So I usually like to see exhaust on Yasuo, especially on most Yasuo mids, just because he can go in, cancel the burst from other people, and then from there, it's just very easy kill. Pick up 1, 2, 3, get out, and you're done. But I don't know, maybe the Ignite will work here.
No, I have to kind of agree with you there, especially when you're facing a Katarina. When you're facing an assassin, an exhaust is always nice to have because Katarina kind of has the same mindset as Yasuo a bit, where it's like, if I'm going in here, and we're gonna go crazy for a few seconds. So just toss the exhaust down. It really nullifies the ultimate or nullifies any sort of combo that you're trying to pull out there. And like you were talking about, the exhaust on an AD champion is pretty darn strong because when the person is slowed from that exhaust, you get more auto attacks in. And Yasuo actually is reasonably auto attack dependent, even though his combos decently strong. It's not the same as like an AP burst. Having those extra auto attacks will really pay dividends in the end and probably do as much damage, if not more, than that Ignite. The one thing that you do get from the Ignite, though, is you can toss the Ignite down, say, as someone's flashing away or as someone's trying to get away for the extra burn damage to tick them down at the end. But like you were saying, will she be even low enough to have that be an option in mid lane? She'll probably need to be having some damage done by Amumu as well. And actually, just to lead on to that as well, Amumu is really the only AP damage coming out from Never Pull Out. They're a very AD stacked team with Yasuo and Darius in the solo lanes, and then of course an AD carry in bot lane. You can really just build a ton of armor if you're TSM light and make it a hard night for Never Pull Out.
Exactly, and on top of that, something that I want to talk about as well, Never Pull Out running the double AP. We've been seeing that kind of come into effect a lot recently, and I mean, it's just because it's so strong. Lissandra is strong in that top lane, able to zone and farm quite well. She has the lockdown as well. She can go in, ult somebody, Zhonya's herself, or she can go in, ult herself, Zhonya's, and she's practically still alive, and she also engages the fight from that. And then, most of the mid laner picks we see Nidalee going around, LeBlanc going around, Cassiopeia even kind of going around as well. Syndra once in a while too, but you get my point. A lot of AP recently in the meta, and I'm pretty interested to see if they can pull it out on the side of TSM. No, sorry, yeah, TSM late. Never Pull Out. My apologies. Sorry. With regard to running the Yasuo mid, and I feel like this game will actually be upon early game if Never Pull Out can actually kind of win the lanes, and if they can, I feel like it's just going to snowball in favor of TSM Light the longer this game goes on.
I would have to agree with you entirely there. As you see a pause coming out early, I think possibly somebody having some connection issues, and they do have up to 5 minutes of pause time for either team here. But like you were mentioning, TSM Light probably does have the better team fight, where it's a little bit more of a kind of pick comp, I guess you could say. Any comp that Blitzcrank's in is technically a pick comp, I guess, for the side of Never Pull Out. But like you were saying, the team fight is for TSM Light, so the longer the game goes, the more it's centered around these 5v5 team fights. TSM Light should take control, but Never Pull Out do have some decent lane matchups here. Darius always really strong early. We'll see how he does against Lissandra, if he can get a good pull on her before she uses her Glacial Path, or maybe after she uses it, or before she picks it up rather, or then after she uses it. But they do have the potential, like you said, to win these lanes early and then snowball the game from there. But I really feel like that's kind of their best path to victory right now, which for me is not good win conditions. When your win conditions are, okay, win lane, win game, it's a little bit trickier. When your win conditions are, okay, all we have to do is just wait and then group up as a team, and then we can just all press our keyboard at the same time and we win the fight. That's a little bit simpler of a strategy, and I like that comp, like I said, from TSM Light there. It's a much easier path to victory than it is for Never Pull Out.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, I'm kind of interested to see if there's going to be any level 1s. I don't see a lot of level 1s actually take place since, the new jungle is a little bit deadly, and most of this is kind of dependent on lane, like I said. This meta is mostly on, going to lane and trying to get ahead from lane, try to get some sort of advantage, and I mean, it's a lot of lane swaps as well. I do not think we'll see any lane swaps, but you never know. But it looks like standard starts, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks like actually TSM Light might be going down for some deep ward coverage here. And like you were mentioning with the level 1, if you have Blitzcrank on your team, you want to level 1. You want to get something happening. You want to try and burn someone's flash or possibly get a first blood or at very least get some deep wards in. And the side of TSM Light seems to be doing what I would like to see from Never Pull Out actually. Never Pull Out has that Blitzcrank for a level 1. Not to say that TSM Light's level 1 is bad, but a Blitzcrank pull just kind of trumps everything at the end of the day. So it'll be really interesting to see if anybody scouts this out or if they just have some nice deep wards from TSM Light. They're gonna try and steal this, I think, maybe, or just roam around. We'll see what we're gonna do here. There is the back from Leona, so the bot lane's gonna head back to bot lane, keep it safe, and I think we might have a red steal early from the side of TSM Light.
And that's a really good idea. You know, get that Amumu behind. Make sure he does not hit level 6 where he hits his power point. That great kind of AoE stun. And I mean, it's great kind of thinking as well as the deep wards as well to track where he will go or see if anybody will come, because right there that could have been a 5-man jump onto one person, especially on the Darius. He would have no escape. He would have to burn his flash and they would probably still be able to pick up the kill on TSM Light. So very smart play by TSM Light. And I mean, I can't look at bot lane right now. They're already going to be ahead, and Graves Leona, you don't want that level 2 is something else I wanted to discuss. Once they get that level 2, they will have a complete dominance over that lane, and they're going to be able to just kind of snowball from that point. Once they hit level 6, they'll be able to go in a lot faster. And since, again, like I said, since they're going to hit level 2 faster, they're going to hit level 6 a lot faster as well. But it mostly depends on the jungler presence as well, which we'll see.
No, you're absolutely right. That level 2, like you mentioned, is extremely important in bot lane, specifically in this matchup. If Leona Graves hit level 2 here, which it looks like they're going to based on the fact that they got to lane sooner, didn't have to leash for their jungler, and Pantheon might go straight to top lane here, or is he going to go back? Pulls a minion, unfortunately, Blitzcrank does, but Pantheon's going to go back to his jungle and just play it safe. Very happy with the red steal early there. And we'll see if Amumu actually travels over and tries to steal Pantheon's red buff here, which he should do, but the problem is they didn't have any vision. Amumu actually backing early.
Oh, interesting indeed. I don't really think he can pick up anything other than maybe a ward and some pause, but I mean, this is actually the first time I've really seen that. Usually I see junglers, you know, go through their roots, go through the jungle, and then go back once they hit about level 4-ish, and, you know, they can get those wards, they can get their next jungle item, but instead, deciding to go back early is something I usually, again, do not see from junglers recently.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't get to see how he used his smites and stuff there and his pots and whatnot, but normally, and now I'm not a jungle main, jungle is my worst role, but what I do in the jungle is I'll just start the Gromp, start the Frog, smite that, take my blue buff without smite, and then run all the way over to my red buff and smite that, because the lower the health is on that red buff, the more health you're going to get back. And then after that, you can do one camp or just go back depending on how healthy you are, but really you should be getting those 2 buffs on the start, and Amumu had to go back, only bought boots, no pots, and is now going to go see that his red is stolen, so Amumu is way behind right now.
Yeah, look at that 5 CS, and it's going to escalate even more. It looks like Pantheon actually looking for a gank in this mid lane, and Katarina put a lot of hurt actually onto the Yasuo. There goes the ping, and we're going to see a nice anticipated gank go down, most likely.
And I'm not sure what's going on in top lane, but 15-2 CS should not be happening no matter what's going on. There's the flash from Pantheon, and they are going to be picking up a first blood onto Yasuo. Yasuo does not have the reaction time to flash. I love that flash engage from Stratos XE there on Pantheon, giving no reaction time to Yasuo in the mid lane. That is going to be an easy first blood. A flash as well from Katarina. Doesn't even actually use the ignite, so she's going to have that still back up, but 2 flashes down. Now the thing that they need to do for the side of Never Pull Out is have Amumu take advantage of the fact that the enemy jungler and mid laner have no flashes.
Exactly, and if you look at top lane, Darius is also taking quite a beating. Yes, his farming is very much in favor of Lissandra, but it's not even just that. Look at his health. He's just losing those trades, and that's just the power of being able to counterpick your top lane opponent now. Especially with that Lissandra, like I was talking about before, Lissandra's being picked up a little bit more is because she has a lot of poke, she has a lot of damage early, and I mean, she's a very kind of nice top laner to have, especially in the mid game. And this isn't even her power spike, honestly. Her power spike is when she hits that level 6. She has that frozen tomb and she's able to lock down people for days, or, you know, keep herself safe for about 5 seconds, which is so much time. And I mean, if this Darius wants to become relevant, he's going to have to do something, either take jungle creeps on top of that, or he's gonna have to farm these minions safer.
And here's what Darius did wrong, is he bought a Doran's Shield. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Doran's Shield, but in a matchup against Lissandra, you need to kill her at level 1 or she will bully you exactly like what's happening right now. He needs damage and he needs to go in at level 1 and just bully the crap out of her. Darius has a monster level 1. His passive is absolutely brutal, and he could have bullied, Lissandra in top lane as early as possible. He needed to get in on her and make her life hell right from the get-go. Unfortunately, gave her a little bit of space there, and Lissandra has just an absolute field day in top lane right now. She is going to be in great control and super strong later in the game.
And with Darius, it's not even you want to wait till you're level 6. You have that execute all like you were saying before. You want to get that early kill. He has a lot of great damage early on. And I mean, Blitzcrank is going to go into a face check rush.
Yeah, normally what you want to do is toss a ward in there. As you can see on the blue side, their ward just running out, but you do want to have vision of that little lane brush right there, especially against an opponent like a Blitzcrank or a Leona. On either side, it's really important to have vision. Unfortunately, a little bit of damage being taken there by Talking Taco, and they might have an engage opportunity for Graves and Leona, but they don't really need to do anything, to be honest, because they're winning in CS right now. Here we go, in on Yasuo with the exhaust, and he actually flashes away, but that might be enough, and that is going to be kill number 2, 2-0 for Katarina in mid lane right there. We mentioned before the Ignite rather was still up from last time, and you mentioned in Champ Select, if Yasuo had exhaust there, he'd probably still be alive.
Exactly, and I mean, there's not much kill potential going down with that early gank from Pantheon, you know, just abusing the fact that he took Amumu's red, he knew Amumu would be behind, and you can tell from Amumu's farm and just his lack of kind of presence on the map in the lanes that Katarina is just going to get this lane very easily. She's just bullying out this Yasuo now, not just in damage, but in every other sense right now, slowly getting a farm lead, and pretty soon that's going to escalate to a Katarina getting a first item at about 10 minutes, but Leona's going in.
Yeah, Graves actually gets pulled by Blitzcrank, drops a trap, but it's going to be way too far behind. Nice little EQ combo by Caitlyn, and they get away safely. But unfortunately, I wouldn't be dropping a trap mid-combat there. It's kind of delaying your auto attacks. Just get more auto attacks in. If you are going to drop the trap, drop it further back so they have to run into it instead of where they're standing currently, because they're probably going to move. Leona just eats the trap, doesn't care about it whatsoever. And Cat's going to be going for a lane gank right here. This is really smart because they have no wards for the side of Never Pull Out.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't even see from the minions as well. This is probably most likely going to be a tower dive. If I was Never Give Up, I would just back right now. It's not worth getting these minions, especially since a large minion wave build up. It's a larger possibility of getting a tower dive. It's insta death right here.
Oh, and actually flashing away from Blitzcrank right there, so he got the pull and then just flashed immediately away. But the thing that you can kind of take notice of if you are Never Pull Out there, you can see here's Yasuo trying to make a play down in the bottom. As we saw, Pantheon was sitting in mid lane for so long. Here comes Katarina, gets the knockout from Yasuo, but Katarina does not even care. She is more than content to trade with a Yasuo, who all he has is that, the Avarice Blade, excuse me. But Katarina is trading right now, running back to her Pantheon. This is a 2v2 that the side of Never Pull Out cannot win, but they do have a Blitzcrank as backup. Let's see what they can do. This might be the first dragon contest of the game. Both teleport. No, Ron teleports out. Oh, there's the pull over the wall, but Katarina and Graves just blow them up there. Pantheon getting a kill on Blitzcrank. Great Leona ult, and that is going to be a dead Yasuo. Are they going to dive this? No, so just turn straight to the dragon. Incredible play by TSM Light, and they just took control of this game in a major way.
And that was something I want to say is that Leona ward is exactly what they needed. They put the Leona ward over, just scouting out the Blitzcrank, scouting out the Amumu, and they're like, hey, let's kind of try to bait this out. Let's try to get him to hook in, and I will go in with the Zenith Blade. They did exactly that, and boom, blow up 2 immediate. The Leona ult snipe is what secured the 3rd kill. Yes, Caitlyn got away, but in the end, a dragon and then a 3 for 0, that's incredibly worth on the side of TSM Light, and they just have to keep snowballing from here. 3k lead is going to turn into more, especially with the 5 kills they already have and the farming advantage they have in each, not just lane, but in the jungle as well. 67 farm to 60, 61 to 31, 45 to 40, 34 to 20. That's just slow leads going into a team that's supposed to kind of have their strength in the mid game where they all hit level 6, but instead we see Yasuo kind of going in the mid lane trying to make a play.
And that's where they wanted to take the Ignite. Let's see if Katarina takes down... Oh, actually, you know what? Oh, I was going to say, what you can do there is you run... Yeah, there's the shield, as you can see. The shield from the 2nd tier turret right there. If you do get Ignited as a mid laner, just run to your 2nd tier turret, and that shield from the 2nd tier turret will sometimes save your life. So Katarina just barely staying alive right there. The exhaust going to be down for Yasuo, and he went all in right there, but that's really good that Yasuo was able to try and make a play, even though he has like no items right now. Flash from Darius right there, really scared at the Glacial Advance, but Katarina now has a needlessly large rod, almost finished her Zonias.
Wow, that damage from Pantheon all.
Whoa, who am I? You going back in? Yeah, I don't know what he's going straight back in there. He knew that Pantheon didn't have cooldowns and that Amumu was backing him up there, but I still did not like that go back in trade there. That scared the crap out of me. Yes, Suo playing life on the edge. When you've already died 3 times and you have 3 out of 5 deaths for your team, I wouldn't be making those cheeky little comeback trade plays.
Especially since it's not even just that you don't want to give up more kills. Yes, you're not worth that much gold anymore, but that's just killing team morale right there, honestly. Once somebody dies, it's like, oh my gosh, okay, we gotta pick up our act. And when you see that happen to somebody 3 times, you just start to not think, and the more times you die, the more times you're gonna stop thinking a lot more, and you're gonna be like, oh, I can still make these plays, but you won't know how far behind you are. Your teammates are just gonna get drained from that, because they're gonna be like, hey, come on, like, let's go, you gotta pick up your act, let's do this, let's go. But wow, mid lane, Amumu putting on some damage to Katarina.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, Amumu's been so far behind this entire game, and it all stemmed from the red buff steal, and that all was... Oh my goodness, here comes Katarina, though. She might be trying to make a play on Amumu. Yasuo is there, but whoa, way too much damage coming out from Katarina, and as we mentioned, the needlessly large rod at 11 minutes in the game is just absolutely way too much, and Katarina is going for a Zhonya, as we mentioned this before. The only real damage on the side of Never Pull Out is AD, and when your main damage dealer on your team is also going to be super tanky with a Zhonya's plus 2.5 seconds of active stasis, like... Katarina is just an absolute god at 12 minutes in the game. This is not what you need if you never pull out.
Exactly, and like we were talking, like I was talking about before too, if you look at the items, we see that they're almost done, and the tower dive going down top lane.
Another flash engage from Pantheon, and actually Darius staying alive here, but that is, no, unfortunately, great trade of tower damage aggro right there. These guys are scuba certified because that dive was beautiful in the top lane there. Pantheon making it 2-0-1, getting Lissandra involved in the kills in this game, picking up her first bit of participation.
Yeah, and again, like we were talking about before, Amumu just like no presence in any lane whatsoever. He's so behind. Great play early by TSM Light to get that Amumu behind, knowing, hey, let's go back to Season 1 stress, Season 2 stress, where, you know what, Amumu goes in, he's going to steal, or we're going to steal his buff early and set him behind so much. And since Amumu didn't try to, you know, get an early gank in or anything, he just got behind farther and farther. And from this point, what do you think that Never Give Up have to do to kind of... make it back?
Unfortunately, they're in a really bad place right now. They need to just have wards in their own jungle and at the river. They can't give up any more kills. They need to just kind of just stall right now. Even though, as we mentioned before, that's not kind of their win conditions, and that's why I mentioned before I don't like their win conditions of win lane, win game. I like a win condition where even if things go wrong, you can still pull things out. And right now, they're not in that situation, but what I would suggest for them if I was shot calling is just wards, 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 no more deaths, just farm, freeze lanes, just stall, don't fight right now.
Yeah, and actually talking about wards right now, I don't really see that much vision control, but the vision control regardless is still kind of in favor of blue side. You know, they have a few wards here and there, a little bit more towards the Dragon Pit entrance, just making sure their bot lane's protective, but it looks like we see pings going down, for Katarina's going to go for a roam, actually, possible tower dive towards the spot lane.
Yeah, and they do have a great pink ward in the Tri-Brush right there for the red side Never Pull Out. I love that pink ward, and I like the AD carry to put it there because it stays there for a long time, and then there can be more aggressive pink wards from the support. But Katarina is getting into a sticky situation right now. Amumu and Yasuo trying to get a pick. I don't think she knows they're there, and she goes straight in. Amumu misses the bandage toss. Oh no, there's the smite. Oh, and there's the Amumu ult, rather. The stasis from the Zhonyas, and she's going to go down here. Whoa, oh my god, she gets the kill on Yasuo. Oh, that's ridiculous. That shows how far ahead they are, but they go in. Leona with the E over the wall. The jump over the wall from Pantheon. Beautiful play from Statos. And they still have a minute until Dragon spawns here, but they should be able to push this wave here and take this turret. Absolutely incredible play coming up from TSM Light. And that's what happens when eager to kill. You have a 5-1-3 Katarina. Even when she gets caught out, she can still pick up a kill before dying.
Yeah, and we saw the amount of damage she was doing. Again, she got that Zhonya's so early, and she also has Sorcerer Shoes, which means Magic Pen increase, which means more damage. Lissandra actually putting some damage onto Darius, so she'll be able to pick up the kill.
Yeah, she should be here. Darius actually going ham right now, and Darius kind of doing the same thing that Yasuo did earlier, and I mentioned kind of going back in for cheeky trade damage when it's like, you've died too many times, don't even bother at this point. Lissandra also had her flash up. She has way shorter cooldowns than Darius does. Darius does not have any sort of damage right now. He's working on pure health and magic resistance. I do not like that attempt at a kill there from Darius.
And it's not even just that. Look what her item is. Her first item is a Rod of Ages, increased health, more mana, and a little bit more AP. I mean, why would you go into a trade if you have that? More health means she can survive longer in these trades, and I mean, Darius should know that, and right now it seems like on the side of Never Pull Out, they don't really exactly in my opinion, know when to go out for these trades.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make things happen for themselves. Like you were mentioning before, it's hard for them to get back in the game. I'd say they should just ward up and try not to fight right now, but they're trying to fight to get back in the game, which is a common mistake. When you're behind, especially when you're behind about 8k gold at 15 minutes, don't fight. Just disengage from any fight you possibly can and just wait. But right now, it is going to be Dragon number 2, picked up for free for TSM Light here. No vision whatsoever for Never Pull Out, unfortunately.
And Dragon number 2 increased damage to towers and structures. That's going to help them push down and, close the game faster. Not that they really need it, though. Like we were saying, late game team comp. Leona actually going in and getting pulled by Blitzcrank.
But she should be fine, and this is what I mentioned before. Blitzcrank doesn't really have that many options in terms of who to pull. Leona goes in here, gets bopped up by Blitz, but Graves was not on the same page. Uses the heal, though, and Graves is just going to go straight 1v2 right now. He needs to be careful, though, because Leona is backed him up, but gets the kill on Caitlyn. Blitz trying to make the pull, dodges it easily. He's going to go turret diving right now. He's going to be super careful. He might go down. He's going to be safe. Doesn't get the last hit there, but Ben Bai right there going crazy on Graves, and he has the right to when he's this far ahead in the game. But that is what I mentioned before. Blitzcrank, you don't want to pull the vast majority of members for TSM Light.
Exactly, that got Leona that free stun, and then she went back in with the Zenith Blade. She got this clutch Solar Flare ult, right in the middle of that. 2 perfect stuns, which got Graves into the mix, and he was able to do enough damage onto Goofy, and Goofy just doesn't have the damage or the escape from that point. If Blitzcrank uses everything on that Leona, if Caitlyn uses her net to get away from that Leona still, she has no way to kind of get away from the Grave Burst, and we just saw the amount of damage Graves did. Graves was able to just 2v1 in that situation, almost taking down both members in that bot lane on the side of Never Pull Out, and I mean, just 14-1 in kills, and with the amount of farm they have over their lane partners, not just in the bot lane, but in the mid lane, in the top lane, and even in the jungle, it looks very, very desperate on the side of Never Pull Out, and I feel as if, like you said, wards. They need those wards out, because TSM Light making these nice fast rotations towards buffs, towards objectives, whatever they need to do. And with the lack of wards there, they can't see these rotations happening, and that's what's getting them caught out in the jungle or even in their own lanes.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is where the game gets dangerous, because as I was just about to say while you were talking, the first thing I was going to say when we came out of that was they need to group up mid and start pushing down turrets right now. Pantheon 1v1 and Blitzcrank getting him away. Caitlyn's backing from the side here. And like I was saying, just group up mid and push down the inhibitors right now. You are so far ahead. Your team comp is built around 5v5 fights. Just get together and force some things down.
Yeah, and right now they're knocking on the inhibitor tower door of Never Pull Out, and the hook, so close to connecting to Eager to kill, but we see Graves putting down quite a bit of damage. Goofy down to half already, and we see Blitzcrank down to half as well, and this is going to be an easy siege for the side of TSM Light.
Yeah, they're not even sending anyone to try and deal with it. They're sending Blitzcrank, and that's not a good idea. Blitzcrank is not who you want to wave clear. Darius is going to get jumped on. He flashes away, but still gets stunned. Tanking the tower for a few seconds is Pantheon, but they're going to turn and take this inhibitor, and it doesn't look like Never Pull Out can really do much about it. They're so far behind in golden items at this point. They are just content to push the little wave that's there and kind of lick their wounds in their own base. They might jump on a Mumu, though. Mumu, no! Whoa! Oh, he actually stays. Oh, just going to say, just barely stays alive, but Graves has the red buff. The Pantheon ult just kind of coming back onto the map there for funsies, but I would like to see the side of TSM Light just kind of go back to bottom or top there and push in the side waves now.
Or not even just that, go into the enemy jungle and take those buffs and then rotate to that Baron. They can't kind of contest this Baron. They have to deal with super minions in mid lane, and as well as, even though the side lanes are pushed into their towers are pretty healthy still. And not just that, this Baron can help them end earlier, but Yasuo is trying to go for this Katarina right now.
Yeah, Yasuo needs to be careful. There's the Zenith Blade. Oh, great knock-up actually to block her back, but Katarina doesn't care about that. She's going to continue to chase. Pantheon going in, going to pick up that kill on Darius right there. Yasuo just content to chase them away from the base. Talking Taco way out of position. Oh, a flash actually from Lissandra. I don't know if that flash was necessary, but she doesn't care. She wants to get a kill, wants to get into the action. Pantheon going to get shut down by the Amumu ult, but that is going to be all that they're going to be doing. Katarina's still chasing Yasuo on the other side of the map. I don't know what's going on. Killing Yofu. Going to go down right there. Goes in with the bandage toss, and Humayu is going to get executed there, so a giant waste of time for Katarina, but she doesn't care because her team is pushing into the enemy base right now. TSM Light going to try and end this game at 20 minutes right now. They've only got 3 seconds on the Darius timer, 3 seconds on the Blitzcrank timer, but they should be able to take at least one Nexus turret, if not 2 and more. Let's see what they decide to do. They're continuing to push right now.
I feel like they should just back up right now. Graves is half health, and they are making this risky. Blitzcrank pull gonna land onto Lissandra, though.
Yeah, Lissandra getting pulled around, tossed around like a ping pong ball, and Leona is actually going to play a bit of defensive line right there. Darius is going to get blown up by Leona's W.
Wow.
And there's the block from Leona as well on the ace in the hole. Easy peasy, and they're going to just pull back. And now, like you were mentioning before, is when they can start to set things up for Baron. They have top lane pushing, bot lane pushing, I'd back, get some items, go straight to Baron right now.
Exactly, especially with that inhib tower down, they have to definitely clear every lane there. Leona blocking that ulti, and Katarina going for the engage right now.
Yeah, Cat popping the Zhonya's not after getting 2 kills, and that is going to be a surrender coming from Never Pull Out, and I have to agree with that surrender. I'm usually not a fan of surrenders, but in this time of a game, in this type of situation, yeah, Never Pull Out of this game.
Exactly. Just because, you know, that was such a big league, and I know how demoralizing that can be sometimes, and it's not a lot of fun when it comes to that point in the game, especially with everything just going in out of your favor every single time. We're gonna go for an interruption. We're gonna go for a fight. This is the right call. Then boom, TSM Light, you know, made that early play level 1, took the Amumu red away, got that level or that first blood at level 2 with that Pantheon gank, and I mean from there it just started spiraling out of control. Every lane getting ahead on TSM Light, and so on and so forth, and it just turned into TSM's like game here.
Yeah, absolutely. And we didn't even fully stack the Rod of Ages before the end of the game, that Lissandra in top lane, but every single lane absolutely dominant for TSM Light, and they're going to be moving on to the next round of our tournament right here. We're going to be getting on to the next lobby very shortly. Just want to remind you all, go over to randomcs.com, check out our website. We do tournaments, giveaways, cosplays, streams, forums, all that kind of great stuff. Our Facebook is ari.cs, ari like the champion.cs. Our Twitter is @esportsrcs. And if you're watching this right now, you're probably watching on twitch.tv/randomchampionship series, so please give us a little follow, hit that purple follow button, bottom left corner, and we'll be into our next lobby and the next game very shortly. My name is Streetbull. You can find me on Twitter @Streetbull, and I'm casting alongside Sword of Lighting today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll be right back.
Peace for now, guys.
Try to forget that you were here. Some part of me wants to disappear with you. My soul and all that I could afford. So only gonna fall into what you explore. My soul disappear with you. My soul, you're here. My soul disappear with you. My soul.
Hello everyone and welcome to another game that we're going to be joining kind of midway into the game here. On the blue side we have No Valentine Club, and on the purple side we have Aunt Jemima and the crew. And we'll be getting Sword into game here very shortly, as we are just kind of piggyback spectating. Like I said, we're just jumping into this game right away, so it looks like we have a slight lead for No Valentine Club right now. And it looks like their strongest member on their team so far. Actually, they've got a few strong members. And Katarina, Pantheon, and Gnar right there, so their solo laners doing pretty well. Caitlyn taking up a little bit more of a support role. But it looks like Udyr is going to be trying to run away right now. Ori Ball thrown onto Udyr, keeping him safe. Udyr is quite tanky right now, keeping himself alive. He seems to be a pretty strong member for the side of Aunt Jemima and the crew.
And it actually looks like, again, like a repeat like the last game we just spectated. Katarina is one of their main strengths. You know, we see the Gnar here this time. He did not get banned out. And again, the Pantheon being one of those main strengths as well. And with that said, we see that No Valentine Club going for this Dragon. And if I'm looking right now, this looks to be their third Dragon. Increased movement speed. And this is going to help with the incredible engage from Nar and Pantheon, in my opinion, as well as running away with that Janna kind of monsoon happening, and her ability to kind of disengage. So with her tornado, her slow, she's going to be able to help her teammates move even faster away with the help of the move speed buff move speed buff, sorry, from Dragon.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a double movement speed buff there with, like you were talking about, the kind of passive movement speed that Janna gives in there with her W. But one of the big things I want to point out, just looking at the score screen right now, is the CS difference between Caitlyn and MF right now. Even though MF is kind of a little bit ahead in terms of score, Caitlyn is just miles ahead in terms of farm, and we can see that translated into items as she has her Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, and is trying to complete her last Whisper right there, where it still looks like a Trinity Force being worked on for MF after that Infinity Edge.
Something I want to say as well is Miss Fortune has not seen a lot of play recently, and that's just because with the nerfs, not really the nerfs, but the changes to BF when they changed it from it can stack now to this great big shield that AD carries have to make it more a defensive item. It turned in that MF wasn't as strong as he used to be, but with that said, no Valentine Club sneaking in a Baron, being able to take it, but Red Side might see a nasty surprise.
Yeah, here comes Udyr, going to try and get things in there. Orianna ball on top of him. There's the slow from MF as well. But a free Baron caused by lack of vision from Aunt Jemima and the crew side, and a good call from No Valentine Club to pick that up when they weren't looking.
And just in time too, we see that lanes are pushing in favor of Angemon and the crew, and now no Valentine Club, since they have the Baron buff, that will help push these minions back even farther, and this may even be their plan. Maybe they do want to split push off this, but it looks like what I feel like they should do is they should push up this mid lane, use the enhanced Baron buff with the minions, and just siege down this mid lane inhibitor, and then from there go on to, let's go on to top, or let's go on to bot. In my opinion, I would go on to bot, because yes, you're already on that inhibitor tower. Not just that, it's the farthest away from Baron and Dragon, but wow. Nice flash from Caitlyn.
Yeah, and the teleport coming in from Gnar, I don't know about that. Cancels the TP and then just decides to back to Fountain. Yeah, that was a little bit of a weird TP, to be honest. I think he was expecting them to turret dive Caitlyn, but once Caitlyn E'd and flashed the Orianna ultimate, at that point they kind of just turned and were like, whatever, we'll kind of leave the trade of ult for flash there. That's worth it for us. But like you were mentioning, one of the things I love to see teams do, and this is one of the things that people don't do sometimes before sieging, is pushing those side waves. And I was talking about it in the last game, is shove the side waves and then group up mid and set that siege, because it'll make your opponent have to decide, do we want to fight this here in the middle, flash away from MF, because Pantheon is just jumping in. They have no turret in the mid lane here, so they really need to defend. Like, Udyr has no way of getting back to his team. I don't know what he's doing in the top lane right now. And the blue side actually might decide to back off here, but they should be able to get a free inhibitor in the mid. There's the ult from Pantheon. He's going to try and grab Orianna, and he gets Orianna. Orianna should get blown up right here. Flashes away. The heal from Sona is barely enough. The block, but no, Gnar actually picks up the kill. Oh my goodness, they're going to get an inhibitor right here, as well as the kill. Orianna down for another 35 seconds, and they're just going to move around the side here with these baroned up minions. Gnar transforming. Sona getting a little bit too close right there. Gets tossed back by the ultimate. There's the engage. The ult coming out from MF, and they're just tanking the damage right now, but will Aurelia be able to kill? No, Pantheon just barely staying alive. MF caught right there. The tank, or the turret being tanked there. Oh, in goes Miss Snow, and she's going ham. There's the Zonias to keep herself safe. She's got about 25 seconds. Jumps back to a minion, pops it, her W, and is going to get away scot-free. Janna tanking the turret right now. They need to be careful. They should just kind of push this in and be safe. They've got 10 seconds on Sona, 4 seconds on Orianna, and they don't have Pantheon there yet. His ultimate is only halfway done. Not going to be able to get close with that. They should be able to get this, but I don't know if they're going to want to try and end just yet. The ultimate on Janna takes her down immediately, and they're going to have to turn their tails and run right now, but an open Nexus for No Valentine Club.
Nice net by Caitlyn to kind of escape the shockwave, and all it took was 3 auto attacks from Gnar to get that into such a snowbally fight in the 2 Nexus turrets, but it looks like Udyr wants to try to get more. Pantheon's going to jump in and turn the favor, though. Not kill there.
Shutdown going on. Of course, Sona not tanky at all, unfortunately, right now. 2 free kills, and that might spell the end of the game for Aunt Jemima and the crew. No Valentine Club's deciding to push straight down mid. They don't even want to worry about top or bottom. They're just getting kills and training down. Open Nexus, and this should be the end of the game. Caitlyn going to use that Phantom Dancer, get that Nexus down. Whoa, ultimate coming in. Orianna getting dashed in right there. Gnar actually goes down as well, trades his life for Orianna, and they're going to be, I was going to say, they should just turn their attention to the Nexus right now. Kate should just be straight attacking the Nexus, while Pantheon plays offensive line, Miss Snow running around away, and that is going to be GG, No Valentine Club advancing on to the next round.
Yeah, and actually just seeing even just a tiny bit of that play, we saw the control that No Valentine Club had. They were constantly, if you look at the map, the ward control was in their favor. The rotations were perfect, right on point, textbook, I must say. And their catches and their ability to know, oh, we can go in, we can do this, we have the damage, or hey, we have to back out now, was perfect. They were able to kind of go in and take as much as they needed or as much as they know they could take, and then back out when they knew they were in the most danger. So well played by them.
Yeah, absolutely. Clean finish to that game there. Very effective. 33-minute win, and we'll be moving on into our next round, setting up our next lobby very shortly here. As sorry, we kind of jumped into that game mid-play, but we want to get you guys as much actual game action as we possibly can. Setting up the next lobby here very shortly. Once again, my name is Streetball. You can find me on Twitter at Streetball, on YouTube.com/Streetball as well. And then, of course, we have Sword of Lighting, and you can find him on Twitter. I believe it's there on the thing, because unfortunately I don't know it currently.
It
What's
is
your
at sim_sword.
There you go, sim_sword. So check him out on Twitter. Very, very highly skilled caster here, and we'll be getting up some more games here in the short meanwhile. Just take a quick break, and we'll be right back with you guys. Thank you for watching. We are the Random Championship Series, randomcs.com. We'll be right back.
to the ground now. I don't even know how. Brought me to a life that you never showed me. Coming from a locked up ghost of your sound, but you're coming from the light. There's more to you than you ever thought there was. Yeah, you're coming from the light. System upgrade.
Tuning out of starlight, the innocent lifetime flickers and flashes under a canvas. No, nobody seems worth it, while the feeling's sophisticated. The view is so restrained. The past is nearing closer and closer, I fear. So let's just cut the bullshit and tell me who's independent. Thumbs twiddling and your life's escaping your mind. Keep in mind, well, the air ain't as free as it used to be, but that's quite alright when you're still 18, it seems to be. And I'll tell you who's overrated. What's a beautiful person with some hideous dreams? Well, the lining isn't silver. We're verging on the side of the road that'll take us home. The edge of us getting weighed. Read about your life in your local papers. Realize the end of us getting near. You're just a droplet of paint trickled off your canvas. Delirious illusion flowing backwards through the river of color while we analyze to try to see it clearer. Secretly appealing to a lonely prisoner. Now what's your vision? Initiate your shading, blend the universe together in time. It only gets a little easier. Suddenly piece yourself back together now. What's your vision? Is crumbling. Let it collapse into the abyss. In the midst of summer it won't exist. This emptiness, it's just a blank slate, waiting for a painter to interfere. It's quite complex, but what I know.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Random Championship Series Gold Knights Golden Under Tournament for today, Saturday, February the 14th. My name is Streeple, and I'm casting alongside Sword of Lightning, and we have a quarterfinal game coming up for you guys tonight between VPG Trinity on the blue side and No Valentine Club on the purple side. And I believe our cameras are blocking bans right now, so I just want to let you guys know it is Gnar and Jarvan banned out first for VPG Trinity, and Graves and Callista for No Valentine Club so far.
Wow, right now, off the bat, I can tell No Valentine Club going for that AD carry ban. I do not know the AD carry on the side of VPG, but I do know that they are very scared of him or her, and that is going to be a big problem. We see on the other side, though, Nar, J4, Lissandra. J4 is such a standard pick in the jungle, very strong. Towards the end of the game, he kind of falls off a little bit, but it's okay. Nar and Lissandra targeted right at the top laner on the side of No Valentine Club. We saw how dominant he was on Nar. Maybe he's that dominant on Lissandra too. Now we see pickups going down on both teams.
Yeah, it seems like for the bans, with Nar, J4, Lissandra being banned for VPG Trinity, they're kind of banning out all the things that can engage on top of them, and then No Valentine Club sticking with more things that can kill them in the two AD carries and the mid laner in Graves, Callista, Ari right there. But really quick lock-ins for first pick Vi there, and then a first pick Janna as well. I mentioned in the last game how much I would like Janna against a hard engage team, and Vi kind of has that hard engage, but it's not the same. And actually, an Annie being picked up here as well. So two characters that could be played in support, but that Annie is most likely going to be solo lane there instead.
Something I actually want to talk about now is that Annie. Now I've seen this will sound crazy, but I've seen a lot of Annie top lane recently. In Korean scene, not really Chinese scene, and a little bit in NA it's crossed over. So maybe we'll see some of that now. You know, the engage on top of the amount of CC Janna has, you know, the little bit of disengage as well. It might be the engage slash disengage they want from this team, but we see the quick response. Orianna, great for engaging or disengaging. That all combined with the assault and battery by or that vault breaker, boom, you got your wombo combo there. Thresh on top of it, boom, you got an even better wombo combo.
Yeah, absolutely. Thresh kind of provides, like you said, he can kind of participate in the wombo combo, which Vi and Orianna really sets you up for that initially. But he can also kind of create picks and things like that as well. Thresh is just a great pick all around. You can really put him in any scenario, and he's going to do well. So a great pick up there as well. I like the Orianna mid lane. It's going to be really safe. Orianna is really good at kind of just staying back and protecting herself with shields. Is a deceptively tanky mid laner with the ball on top of her, things like that. So I like that it is, even though she does a ton of damage, a little bit more of a supporty type mid laner. I don't mind that whatsoever. I love Ori in the mid. But because I know Miss Snow, I know this team, they're actually go under another name every once in a while. Dodd Drizzle, every now and again. They have a couple members, Nick Poopstains and Miss Snow play on that team a lot. But they're being under the name No Valentine Club today, but Miss Snow is most likely going to be playing that Annie in mid lane, as she does quite like that. But as you mentioned before, Annie is actually pretty almost coming close to becoming standard in top lane. She's played a lot nowadays, not as much as she was probably a few weeks, if not a month ago or so, but still has been picked in the top lane fairly often, so not surprised if we would see that. But with the Scion pick up there now, leads me to believe Scion top lane, Fiddlesticks jungle, and then Annie in the mid lane.
And actually, something to talk about, Mick Poop is also very huge Fiddlesticks players, not just this season, but last season, the season before that. Fiddlesticks jungle seems to be his main jungler, and I can't wait to see him go all caw into those kind of lanes, and not even just in the jungle as well. Now, with that Thresh, we see the Draven hover, which I do agree on quite a bit. Draven brings that a lot of nice kind of damage. Callista has a good early damage, Graves does, so the only other answer for ADs is Draven. Draven's a little risky though, but if they have this much faith in their AD carry to play somebody with Draven, oh wait, never mind. They go to the Tristana, even better. Later game, she has to survive the laning phase, especially with the new changes she's had with her E. It's going to be very good kind of trouble. The Maokai going to be there as well for, you know, to finish off the comp, the huge engage. They're going for the late game team comp on the side of VPG. And on top of that, if you look out the side of Valentine Club, they have the disengage as well as the re-engage like we talked about. We have Scion, Sivir, Fiddlesticks, and the Janna. As well as the Annie, sorry, on top of that. You have the engage with the Annie, the Scion, and Sivir, but you also have the disengage with the Janna and the Sivir on top of that as well, being able to use their ults both for disengage as well as other abilities. And not just that, you have the Fiddlesticks ult for damage. Crowstorm is beautiful AoE damage on top of what other, however they want to wombo it, I would say.
Yeah, I really feel like both these comps are kind of set up to whoever gets the best engage will kind of win the fight. If the engage is worked out perfectly by VPG Trinity and they just get their wombo off with the engage from Maokai, engage from Vi, throw the ball, and either of them maybe Thresh lands a hook and he goes in, throw the ball on him. Tristana can follow up. If she wants to jump aggressively, she can do that as well and kind of just train reset kills on top of that. So there is a lot of potential for either team to just blow people up initially. Of course, like you mentioned, we've got Annie who can engage, Sion can engage, Fiddlesticks can engage. Hey, you might even see a crazy Janna flash forward Monsoon aggressively type thing, but with that Sivir ultimate, it'll allow them to engage when they want to and disengage when they want to, of course, with Janna's help as well, which I think is going to be really strong against VP Trinity's team comp. They need some sort of disengage and some sort of, like you mentioned, kind of kite back and then go back into the fight, disengage, re-engage type comp in order to deal with this flat-out engage comp for the side of VPG Trinity. And I do like the fact that they took a Tristana instead of Draven, although I wouldn't have minded a Draven. Tristana is going to be so much safer and will allow them to scale up later into the game, into their team fight-centric comp.
And something on top of that that I'd like to talk about, we see a lot of Scion and Maokai kind of matchups, especially in the LCS. We just saw about 2 or 3 games played with Scion against the Maokai. Now, in your opinion, do you think the Lumberjack would win in this case, or the Tree would win?
Now, in lore, I guess you would say that the Lumberjack would win, but we'll see which skin Scion brings out here. And actually, Maokai, I feel like, is going to be stronger earlier in the game. Now, he'll probably build into that Rod of Ages, so it's not going to be that big of a deal because that is more of an investment item. It's not going to give you a ton of stats early and allow you to bully your lane. But Scion's pretty weak early and kind of just relies on farming up and waiting until later in the game when he can be a massive tank line wall, which Maokai does the same thing, but has a little bit more damage potential, especially in the early game in lane there. So look for Fake Promise 2 to win lane early, but TP Fnatic on Scion to kind of come back and make more impact later in the game.
Especially with his ultimate, going to be able to knock up multiple people at the same time. It will kind of combine very well with that Tipper's ult, especially with the speed up that Sivir brings. I can't wait to see either the Flash Sivir plays with the Scion ult to kind of back that up, or the Scion ult to start things off, then the Sivir ult into the Tipper's Crowstorm, which will be incredible wombo, I must add, to the mix of things that I want to really see how they start the team fight. More like on the other side for VPG, I want to see the Vi go for the engage with the Maokai kind of backing up with the Twisted Advance kind of onto somebody squishy if possible. Annie's very squishy. Everybody practically on the side of No Valentine Club is pretty squishy except for the Scion. Scion's going to be the tank, the only person that Maokai won't want to jump on. And from there, Ori has two options. She has the Vi, who can get uninterrupted with Assault and Battery and has instant pass to the backline, or you can give it onto the Maokai if they're clutched up enough to be able to add the extra CC that Maokai even has, or on top of the extra CC Maokai has. Sorry, he has the knock up or the knock aside with his Q. He also has the root with his Twisted Advance, like I said before. Excuse me, like I said before, and his ultimate also gives a nice kind of slow when it's reactivated again. First activation obviously doing reduced damage. So, I mean, it's going to be constant fighting, I would say, for both these teams.
Yeah, I feel like each side is really going to have to place a lot of wards on the map, and I mention this every game, but vision is super important, especially when you're in a situation where both teams' compositions kind of rely on who gets the better engage. If you get Annie and Fiddlesticks all blowing you up at once, you're probably going to lose that fight. But if you get engaged on by Vi and Maokai and have an Orianna ball on top of that, you're probably going to lose that fight. So it really comes down to who gets the better engage. So I really think that vision is going to play a giant role in this game, and who is going to be caught out first could really kind of spell the difference here. We'll see how the lane phase goes, but I think that team fights, it's going to come down to No Valentine Club really outplaying VP Trinity. VP Trinity has a much easier route to victory, like I mentioned before. They have a simpler strategy, simpler way to win. Just all go in and just all blow everybody up, where No Valentine Club has to play these team fights very intelligently in order to win.
Yeah, and something else I want to do on top of that is if you look on the side of VPG, VPG does have that thresh. I remember before, like last game, I said maybe we'll see some supports kind of roam. And, you know, I feel as if Janna can't do that successful of a roam level 2 or level 3-ish. And since Tristana is a safe enough pick, in my opinion, as an AD carry, I feel like that if they wanted to try the roaming support, they would be able to and pull it off very nicely with the Orianna, especially since Orianna, you know, has her own slows and she does deal a decent amount of damage early on. But that said, VPG going for an early level 1 maybe invade.
Good ward by Fiddle, spotting them out, going to kind of stifle that invade right there. But like you were mentioning, yeah, absolutely, that is really kind of a common strategy nowadays, is you shove the wave in and then have your AD carry just CS 1v2 by themselves. You send your support mid lane, hopefully, usually that's the case, with your jungler as well, 3v1 gank there. And as you were saying, Janna's not the best for that, even though she's got great movement speed, but Thresh can make that happen. So that would be a good idea. Now it's going to be up to Double Tank to CS well or push the wave in, because the thing about Tristana is with her E passive, the way it kind of just shrapnels over the waves and you can't freeze waves properly, they're going to want to either shove the wave in or kind of manage it closer back. So it's a little bit counterintuitive because Tristana just shove waves all the time. She's going to put herself in danger, but like you mentioned, she's got that jump to keep herself safe. It will allow more of a 1v2 potential than the Draven. Draven much more unsafe. But with a Janna and Sivir, you don't really have to worry that much about getting jumped on.
Exactly, and it's not just that. If you look again, you see that actually instead of one jungler starting at blue buff and the other starting at red buff, or vice versa, opposite starts, they're going for the same starts. One going for Grump, obviously, and the other going for ancient golems. And I'm kind of telepathing now from here that maybe this Vi is going for a level 2 gank towards the bottom side for Annie, but most likely, maybe she's going for that level 3 or level 4 kind of gank on top lane for that Scion, possibly.
Yeah, Maokai is good to gank for because he, of course, can Twisted Advance, jump forward, he got the gap closer, and then a slow coming from Q as well. Also, his sapling slow, so Maokai very good to gank for. Scion also has no real escape right now. Once he has his ult, he'll be able to escape with his ultimate, things like that. Orianna did take Ignite as well, so she's got more kill potential than, say, a defensive summoner spell like a Barrier or a Heal, or even an Exhaust, which is usually what I would take on Orianna, but that Ignite will allow a little bit more gank potential, like you said, from the Vi. But to be honest, I expect Vi to just wait until level 6 to gank, because once she hits level 6, then she can pretty much have 100% ganks instead of kind of the half and half when she comes in with her Q. If you miss the Q, you're screwed. If you hit it, you might get a kill, but if you Q in and have your ultimate on top of that, it's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, and it looks like actually right now, Orianna's having a little bit of trouble with this Annie. Annie being able to kind of bully out Orianna, kind of as telepath before. Orianna isn't much of a bullier. She's more of the kind of stay safe, use the ball for a little bit of poke, and farm kind of mid laner, in my opinion. But it looks like actually sneaky Maokai going in for maybe an early ward towards that red side buff. And, I mean, smart play by him.
Yeah, always good to get vision on there, and they're going to see that Fiddlesticks isn't starting it yet. Actually, another ward placed down just to make sure he's going to keep his Fiddle safe right there. But as you were mentioning with Orianna getting bullied by Annie in the mid right here, she took Q and W level 1 and 2 instead of E. I would have liked to see her take E level 1 and then just auto-attack trade with Annie. Annie has a really long auto-attack range, but if you just have the ball on top of you with the shield and you trade Orianna's auto-attacks, her passive makes her auto-attack super strong. Just trade at level 1 with that Annie with straight-up auto-attacks and you will win every time. But here comes Vi in top lane. She might be doing, no, she's going to camp out in the tri-brush for right now. Let kind of bottom lane just bully in their opponents right now. Sivir really needs to try and just keep up in CS, because this is the Tristana strategy, is you want to just shove the waves in repeatedly, because it's really hard to CS under a turret, so you shove your opponent in. Here's the hook though on Janna. They get the Flay. Actually, the Flay does not land on them. I don't know exactly how that worked, but Janna going to be getting some trade damage from the Tristana E, but there's not going to be enough. She has more than enough pots to sustain back up here. Kind of an even trade in bot lane so far.
But blowing those pots for Janna is very important. That means if there's another hook that connects onto Janna, she won't have the health. But by going in for the top lane, Vault Breaker almost connecting there.
Burns the flash from Fnatic, so really good job to burn the flash immediately before getting hit by the Q. Because look, this is what you were mentioning before, there's the hook as well, and actually, unfortunately, I don't think enough mana there for Thresh to flay. That's really sad, unfortunately. He's opted to go for 4 health pots. I kind of would like to see him go for 3 biscuits and a mana pot if he was going to be using his spells this much.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just because Thresh is seeing so many opportunities to land. He took very out of position. Janna and Sivir, sorry, I would say very out of position most of the time. Sivir does have that spell shield to kind of block the hook, however. More like Janna just has to take these hooks, and Thresh kind of noticing that, and him knowing that means that he's finally kind of catching on and seeing, hey, I just need to land a hook onto Janna, and then I'll be very successful. And from there, if he just keeps doing that more and more, he's going to be a little bit more successful in that lane. As you can see, already bullying out the Sivir and Janna, they're acting a little scared and going more towards their tower.
Yeah, as you were mentioning, Janna is probably the prime target to hook because of the spell shield from Sivir. You can just bait in that hook, and then it's much easier as a Janna to disengage for somebody else than it is to disengage for yourself. So having Janna being the one get hooked, it's way harder for her to shield herself and tornado away other people while she's the one getting attacked than it is, say, if Sivir got hooked. She could shield Sivir and then push them away with the tornado, maybe land a Zephyr or something like that. But it's much easier if you're not the one being hooked. But actually, Sivir misses the spell shield right there and has to burn the flash. The exhaust underneath the turret is going to land an extra hit. But in the mid lane right now, Ori is going to get ganked here by Fiddlesticks. There's the teleport coming in from Maokai. Will Ori be able to survive? There's the flash from Annie. It's going to be first blood. In the back, though, Tristana, no, actually not picking up the kill, though. Oh, there she flashes forward. Still had enough time. Maokai forced to flash away as well, but there's the fear from Fiddlesticks. Flash fear as well, and Tibbers just in time blows him up. Going to be 2-0 for Annie. Miss Snow getting the 2 kills in the mid lane right there, but in the bot lane, Double Tank picking up a kill himself. And Orianna flashed that entire time. Oh my goodness, she should have used that way sooner. Ended up dying there when she had her flash up to keep herself alive.
Yeah, and I don't even know what to really say to that. In all honesty, right now, I feel like Maokai, talking about mid lane before that, he teleported in. It wasn't really a good teleport in my opinion, because yes, he had the flank opportunity, but at the same time, Annie had the burst. She still had Tibbers up, she had Ignite, and there was a lot of kind of damage already done to Orianna. Orianna was just trying to make it out alive, and like you said, the flash wasn't used. So she could have escaped with her life, but instead, deciding to keep that flash for something better or something or a worse scenario, and in the end it kind of could have stopped the snowball effect from happening there, picking up 2 kills in that mid lane, and that also would have secured their own team first blood as well onto that Tristana, which would be very, very, very good and more in their favor, because like we were talking about before, Tristana, that later game carry, she needs those items in gold to get going faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that people always ask me all the time, because I do coaching as well, and my students always ask me, how do you deal with an Annie? And what I tell them is just don't give her a kill. Whatever you do, do not die to Annie. And right now, the Annie they're facing, there's the hook on Janna, but Fiddlesticks is waiting in the bush. Fiddlesticks actually going to go in here with the ultimate, but that is going to be way too far back. And he has no flash to jump forward on that. He wouldn't have wanted to, but it's going to be an ult down for Fiddle. But like I was saying before, you do not want to give Annie kills. As long as Annie can't 100-0 you, she's not that big of a threat. Still, she's going to be super strong. But when you have a needlessly large rod at 7 minutes into the game as an Annie, you are not going to have a fun day. And Orianna is going to have a really rough time in mid lane, dealing with the huge burst potential coming out from Miss Snow. Oh, your mic's actually muted, but I'm not sure if that's me or what's going on, but I think you might actually...
Oh, oops.
There we go.
Okay, I think my mic was a little muted. There we go. Yeah, Annie kind of was not really something. Maokai actually going in.
Oh, and this might actually be what they saved the flash for. There's the Ignite, and that is going to be a dead Miss Snow. And there we go. We were talking about Dank Nesquik before, how we didn't know why he didn't burn his flash, but maybe he was just saving it for that. Here comes McPoopstein, but he's going to be seen out by a ward. But he is so fast with those Moby Boots. I don't know if it's going to matter at this point. Decides to just cut his losses, turn for Thresh, but Thresh is super tanky right now. And oh my goodness, there's the heal pop from Tristana. Will be able to stay alive. Zombo's actually going to get hooked.
Wow.
Really aggressive play. Thresh will go down, but it's also going to be a kill onto Sivir, netting a second kill and a follow-up for Double Tank, and that is going to be a not a triple kill, but 3 kills overall, double kill for Tristana in bot lane. And as I was mentioning before with an Annie, it's the same thing with Tristana. Don't feed her early. It turns Tristana's weakness, her early game, into her strength. She's going to scale super strong into late game, and when you're 3-0, who cares about late game? You're strong now.
Yeah, and 1.3 gold she's sitting on right now. That's going to make sure she can pick up her pickaxe and maybe some boots on top of that. Maybe a potion even after this dragon. Nice rotations by the side of BTG. Being able to pick up the Baron uncontested. And it wasn't even the fact that they're wards. It was the nice hook actually that Thresh keeps connecting, not just onto Janna, but onto Sivir, kind of, you know, making sure that she doesn't have the reaction time for that spell shield to block it. And I mean, from there, he's just using that knowledge and that skill to be able to say, you know what, she won't expect this, I can hit my hooks very easily. But Sion ulting into Maokai. Yeah,
Sion actually ulting, it looks like just to get back to lane faster and not miss all that farm and experience. But yeah, as you're mentioning the bot lane, super ballsy play by Titan on Thresh. Pretty much gave his life. As soon as he landed that hook, I'm like, well, he's going to die, but then it's what do you get after that? And in the end, it turned out to be the right decision. Titan netting his kill, double tank right there. Kind of ironic that double tank is the AD carry. But hey, double lift, it's part of double lift's name, so hey, close enough. It's got the best of both worlds, tank and AD carry in his name. But the support, rather, just kind of giving his life, giving it all for the team right there, getting Tristana fed. But here we go, it's a 2v2 in top lane right now, and Crank Rasta is pushing back Fiddlesticks so far. Actually, ult on a Fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks going to go down immediately right there. The burst from Maokai is crazy. Maokai opted to go for the Blasting Wand instead of finishing off his Catalyst the Protector, so going for straight combat stats there. Because he knew Vi was coming, you want to just get those straight combat stats, blow them up immediately. If he was going for more sustain, then you'd want to finish off the Catalyst. But if you're going for a straight gank, getting that flat AP is the way to go. Really well played by VPG Trinity.
Yeah, and this is just Vi being able to roam so effectively, putting a lot of pressure everywhere on the map. Not that Fiddlesticks is not, it's just the fact that Fiddlesticks needs that Crowstorm to do the damage, to have that kind of good ganking like before. But Vi's going in to try to save Maokai right now. Sion is going pretty deep.
Yes, Sion actually might... Oh, I was going to say he actually has to flash away from the Vi Q again. Let's see if Vi will be able to catch up to him. Nope, should be able to get back to the turret there, but that is going to be a flash down again in top lane, because pretty much Maokai almost baited Sion in to the Vi right there. He was going and almost got the kill, but it was not enough at the end of the day. Flash down, and Vi might come back now. Her ult's going to be up way sooner than that flash is.
Yeah, and again, it's just Summoner Spill's getting blown over and over and over again. And it's just because of the fact that if these Summoner Spills are down, that makes Vi's ganks a lot more easier. And on top of that, it just makes getting picks a lot easier. Maokai finding a pick of his own towards the top lane on Sion.
Oh, and he played that so smart. There's the teleport from Sion, really smart as well, and the Twisted Advance, unfortunately, was down from before. Sion going to keep himself alive with a smart teleport, but that was actually really smart by Maokai. Fake Promise, making sure he used the Q to actually knock him backwards, instead of knock him to the side or forwards, adding that extra split second of time to get those attacks in.
Yeah, and Sion kind of playing this lane actually very well. I'm very surprised at how he's kind of reacting to all these kind of roams and everything else. He's been able to avoid death so many times and kind of stay kind of consistent in farm as well. Look, he's only about 10 farm off, and that's not even that much, especially with all the pressure going on into his lane, especially with Vi ganking a lot. It's been proving very much a waste of Vi's time. So great job for him, because wow, wow burst.
And that right there is what I was mentioning before. How do you beat an Annie? Don't get her enough items so she can do that. Because that is when there is little to no counterplay for Annie. In comes McPoopstains, and that is going to be 2 kills in mid lane. Here comes Maokai from the back line, but I wouldn't contest this if I were Maokai. I'd just get out of there at this point. This is going to be dangerous. Miss Snow taking a bit of damage. They don't have their full combos. The flash from Maokai, that is way over-aggressive. I don't know about this whatsoever. He had to know that Sion was coming at some point. Maokai burning a flash for no real reason. Gets feared. Is going to get knocked out by the Q. Actually, Twisted Advances to a minion. Great play from Fake Promise. Might just save his life, but Sion is going to turn dive. Sion is going ham here. He actually gets hit by the E, but no, it does not enough damage to kill Maokai. Maokai's sliver of health. Keep himself... Will Sion try and snipe him with a minion here? I don't think he has one lined up, and that is going to be a safe Maokai. Over-aggressive flash, but incredible Twisted Advance to keep himself alive.
And great rotations as well from the side of Valentine Club. They're able to kind of capitalize on Annie getting a kill there, and from there it's just easy pickups, 1, 2, 3 onto objectives, and it's just going to be easier from this point. Mid lane tower opens a lot in the enemy jungle, and not just in the enemy jungle, but it allows Annie to roam a lot more, which means a lot more CC in those other solo or bot lane and top lane, which means more kills.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Annie used to do now that she's got the mid turret down, is shove the wave and then start roaming. Get her lead transition to the other lanes, because right now bottom lane is losing pretty hard, top lane is losing a bit, but mid lane is absolutely getting demolished by the side of No Valentine Club, so they need to transfer that lead from mid lane over to top, over to bottom, something, but this is not what they need. Annie getting ulted by Vi. There's the ult from Orianna as well. Dead Annie on top of that. Now, the one bit of solace from that is that Annie can die a lot and will still be able to just blow people up immediately and do her job, so it's not that big a deal, but Annie's also worth a lot of gold.
Yeah, and something else that I actually want to look on is look at the farm difference between the mid lane, and not just the mid lane, and the other lanes as well. Actually, Thresh trying to land a hook, he lands the hook!
And over the wall with the Q from Vi, another kill onto Double Tank. Double Tank is getting so fed in this game, and this is what the side of VPG Trinity needs, is they need their fed member to start grouping. Now that Tristan is grouping, they can group up, push down a turret here, 15 seconds on a dead Fiddlesticks, about 30 seconds on the Dragon, so Fid should be up in enough time to try and contest, but they can set up some beautiful wards here. VPG Trinity needs to prepare for the Dragon coming up shortly.
Yeah, and VPG Trinity needs more kind of wards like they have right now, and they have to make sure they don't kind of expire at this point. Now, with regard to Valentine Club, they don't have that much wards in the Dragon Pit area as VTG, obviously, so maybe they could set up a trap, but the ward's spotting them out, so maybe Valentine Club can make some sort of play here.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of a wet noodle fight in top lane right there, even though they're... Oh, wow, Annie getting the blow up onto Dankness quick, and that is what we mentioned before. Annie's fed, she's going to blow you up. This is so unfun to play against a champion that can just 100-0 you right now. That's why you just, whatever you do, no matter what happens, do not give the Annie kills, or this will happen to you.
Exactly, Annie just having that big huge burst, and if you face check that, that's going to be GG. Vi's trying to go for the Dragon Steel. She gets it!
Wow, yeah, actually no contest there. The smite missing from McPoopstains, but they are going to try and turn this around. Maokai will go down. Great hook landing on a miss Snow to protect some damage from Double Tank, but Double Tank is going to go down here. He ults him back there, gets killed though. He does get Fiddlesticks down, but that is going to be a well-played trade there for No Valentine Club. Even though they did lose the Dragon, we'll see what else they can get on top of that. Fortunately, for the side of VPG Trinity, there's no real waves for the side of that No Valentine Club to push in any turrets right now.
Wow, very good play by No Valentine. Actually, not even by No Valentine Club. They're able to trade, but great play by Vi there on BTG. He's able to just go and steal the dragon. Yes, he died, and yes, they kind of sacrificed 2 other members, but at the same time, they were able to get that second dragon, and it's not even just that. Valentine Club was able to react very well on their own as well. Trade that top lane tower. You know, they just sent Sion there. They knew that since it was a 4v3, that they would still finish up on top. And if they tried to contest or if somebody tried to steal, they could blow somebody up and probably even more. And then from there, they were able to say, you know what? We got Vi down. They're trying to kind of go for the flank. Let's blow up them now. Turn on them and see what we can do. They're able to get 2 more kills. And yes, they weren't able to kind of transition to a mid lane tower because minions were pushed in favor of VTG, but at the same time, who can really complain with 1 tower going down in the top lane and 3 kills on top of that? That's just a 1k gold lead now in your favor. Who cares about that increased AP and AD? I would be happy with a 3 for 0 actually, or no, 3 for 1, my apologies, as well as a top lane tower.
Yeah, dragons aren't that big of a deal until you get closer to number 5 when you really have to worry about it, where it's like if they get this dragon, the game is almost over. You can kind of give away those first couple, but the Orianna ball coming in. Here comes Fiddlesticks with the ult though. Miss Snow gonna barely go down here. Yep, there she goes down. But Fiddlesticks should pick up the double. No, actually stays alive. Vi just barely queuing over the wall. The ult from Sion as well. They're going to be trading in the top lane right here. Fake Promise, I think, is going to be content to trade. Gets the passive to get some health back right there. There's no turret to run back to for Maokai. Dodges the E very skillfully. The shield up for Sion as well. Nice little explosion there, trade damage. But as I was mentioning, no turret for the Maokai to run to, but there is a turret that Maokai cannot advance to past for Sion. Hides under his turret, going to be content to farm for right now after they trade to about 10% HP per player. Here comes the bot lane though. Actually, Tristana and Thresh are roaming down, going to try and get Sivir, but Sivir kills the turret and runs away. I love that play from an AD carry. Get the objective, get out of there.
But Maokai kind of turning on to Sion in the top lane right now.
They're going to continue to trade right now, but I don't think either has enough of the burst to actually go, unless they go all in like this. The twisted advance from Maokai, and they might have, he still has the flash up. Maokai might go and turret dive this. He probably could. The turret's super low right now. Lands the Q, but there's the shield from Maokai. Oh, and it's a bait! It's a bait! Sion picking up the kill. That is exactly what I thought. I was so worried about both these players at low HP. Beautiful play from Fnatic. Taking down the tree. Lumberjack's OP.
Oh, okay, well, sorry. Wow, like, it's just great play by Sion. Being able to calculate, know that shield would be enough, but Thresh going for the roam onto Annie.
Oh no, Annie actually getting all of her damage down onto Thresh, which is not who you want. Thresh has more than enough HP to survive that and does no real damage himself. Lands the hook, and Miss Snow is dead right there. She needs to, unfortunately, instead of just going down the middle and trying to blow someone up by herself, group up with the team and blow someone up with the team there. Right now, VPG Trinity is in a great spot to make something happen. They have 20 seconds of no Annie, and that is a big portion of their wave clear. There's the hook landing onto Janna. Are they going to follow up? No, Titan decides to just back off. There's the ult from Sivir. They just need to run away right now, and that is exactly what you should do. When the enemy pops something important like that, just back off, let it run out, and then you can go back in.
And that was great by Thresh. Yes, he again knew that he couldn't land the hook on Sivir. He's like, okay, I'm going to go for Janna. Goes for Janna, blows the Sivir ult in response. That is very big, and they can get a lot more. Shockwave will be up in time before, if I'm not mistaken, Sivir ult, so that maybe they can force a fight from there. And, you know, as well, forcing fights with a Vi that has assault and battery up, you know, Tristana with an item lead, I would say, over Sivir as well. That's a very smart play to have right now, and they just kind of have to force stuff at this point, I feel like, to get ahead. Vi's trying to get on something for Annie.
And there's the ult on top of that, and that should be a dead Annie. This time, Fiddlesticks not coming in to help out his little buddy right there. Annie going straight down, and then you're going to push down this mid tower right now. Janna and Sivir are bot. Sion is top lane. He has the teleport, but I don't know if he's going to want to use this to get in, because they don't have their team there yet. Once Sivir and Janna get in, maybe, but right now they're way out of position. VPG Trinity should have a free turret. There's the TP. Are they going to go in on this? I think the turret might just go down here. I was going to say, yeah, it's going to go down. This is going to be a back straight from Sion. They need to get back and defend this right now. This is really, unfortunately, poor positioning from No Valentine Club, allowing a free turret for VPG Trinity, and they're going to turn to set up for the dragon, steal the blue buff as well.
Again, great rotations by BPG. Yes, they don't really have the ward kind of presence in that area, but at the same time, look at it. They get the kill onto Annie. They're like, okay, great, let's go all mid. Let's go. We have to force this. They can't stop it unless Sion teleports in. They realize Sion can't even teleport in because, well, he uses teleport, but they realize that Sion would practically be doing suicide at that point, and now they're gonna bait the dragon. I like this call from VPG. They're kind of testing the strings of No Valentine Club with the Orianna ult as well as the disengage from Box, and the ultimate by Maokai would be really, really good to have there.
Here comes little Annie hopping through the forest, and there's the hook. That is going to be a dead miss Snow. Ori ult on top is no damage to Sion. Sion popping his ultimate, trying to make something happen, but he might go down as well. Poopstain's ulting in, gonna kill Thresh actually. Tristana jumping super aggressive, but she jumps right into a Sivir. That is not what you want to do. Over aggression, didn't even have time to pause the heal or the flash. Janna and Sivir chasing. The Sivir ult is back up, has to flash away, but she flashes before the twisted advance, and Maokai's gonna pick up the kill. Back goes Vi, pops the smite, and that is gonna be a kill for Orianna with the Q right there. Sion still barely alive. Janna gonna get 1v2'd right here. They do have the red buff on Orianna, and that should be a clean kill. Where's the twisted advance? He does not have it up, but they have the speed up. Oh, they didn't actually get the W off, so there was no slow on Sion. There's the speed up, there's the flash, twisted advance. Maokai picking up the kill, and a clean team fight win for VPG Trinity.
And just wow, back and forth team fight there. You know, VPG, it looked like it was not in favor of them after that slight kind of mistake from Tristana and Titan there, but you know, in the end they were able to come out on top, and that's because Orianna played, I would say, a huge role in that, being able to use ball placement and such to kind of turn the positioning in the fight. But Dragon's still up. War Control is in favor of VPG. Now let's see if they can go for round 2 here and actually take this Dragon this time.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Orianna, is that not only does she have burst coming from her kit with her combo, but she also has incredible sustained damage. So she is almost like an AD carry in that just stay in the back line, just stay alive, and the longer the fight goes, the more you'll be able to pick people off slowly, and we saw that exactly with Orianna. Now I'd like to see Double Tank use that same strategy instead of going super ham into a blind spot as an AD carry. You just can't do that. You can't jump into a blind spot, even if you think you're going to get the resets. Here's the teleport, though, coming from Maokai. They're going to try and contest this dragon. In comes Vi. They don't get the steal this time, but Poopstains picks it up. There's the ult coming in from Vi, but Vi might get shredded right here. The 2 AD carries 1v1ing in the side there. Double Tank gets ulted back by Tristana. The flash forward from Nesquik, but he's going to get knocked up there. The shield on top of himself goes down. Poopstains going down huge, and then the hook does not land. Double Tank, she gets blown up by Annie right there. Triple kill for Annie. She gets exhausted, and she might go down right here, but there's enough damage to Orianna. If Sion gets one more hit, he should be able to stop her here. Oh, flash forward. Is he going to be able to pull it? Oh my god, the juke! He gets out. Red buff, no HP, runs around in circles. The blind bush juke getting the lantern last second from Thresh. Dank Nesquik getting away from that fight, even though he flashed into the mayhem.
So one thing I want to say, I disagreed with the Orianna flash there. She was trying to get herself in position so she could get the ball in that nice, beautiful spot where she landed that 4-man shockwave. She must have felt so good after landing that. And, you know, from there, she should have just put it on the Maokai. Maokai was closer. She could have just saved her flash, and, you know, she could have probably done a little bit more. But overall, great shockwave from Orianna. That's what tipped the fight into their favor and made it kind of too alive for both sides. And I mean, from there you just have to follow up. Tristana went a little too commando there. She went a little too deep for the Annie because he forgot about the Mist Snow has a lot of burst on that Annie. Rabadon's as well as the Morello Onicon, it's just enough damage. The Sork shoots on top of that with the penetration, you can burst down somebody so easily there. But there's Orianna for that as well. Practically the same items, and she's able to do equally an amount of burst. So great job by them. But in the end of the day, I say it's in favor of Valentine Club, just because of the fact that they were able to pick up that first dragon, and that is huge with regards to the Annie burst. It's a lot more AP to add on to that burst, which means a lot faster her target goes down.
Yeah, I'm really looking to see Double Tank on Tristana just hold off into the backline and get resets later in the fight. There's the engagement by teleport in the backline. Now Maokai's running down from River. Janna actually tornadoes away. There's the ultimate from Fiddlesticks, and that is going to be huge. I think that Orianna ult just whiffed, actually. That is going to be a triple kill, a double kill, actually, sorry, excuse me, for Sion. Miss Snow picks up the other kill, and this should be a clean sweep for the fight against Trinity right here. Tons of damage being taken by Maokai. It takes an entire team to pull him down, but they finally do. Orianna, the only one left alive right now, and they are pinging her back. No! go! Gets the QW combo on Janna. Janna face checking a little bit uncomfortably right there. They need to be careful about Ori because she has the potential to do this right now, but if Miss Snow just zones, oh my god, no, never mind. She might go in and just stop this. They need to back off from this Baron right now. McPoopstains is going to die. He's going to die from Orianna if she turns. No, actually, the minion gets Baron actually picks up the kill on McPoopstains, and even though that was like ridiculously sloppy, the dank Nesquik was the one who stopped that Baron from happening with the kill on Janna, the kill on Miss Snow, the two people trying to zone out the team of Trinity just get blown up by the QW.
And the funny thing was actually that no Valentine Club knew that Orianna was there, but all it took was Orianna just to do a QW, and they're already deleted off the map. That's the amount of damage she has to get, that's the amount of burst she has. And I mean, from there, you should have just gone off, go for Nesquik, or maybe not even go for the Baron there. It didn't even look like they had enough damage to take it down. Right when they saw that first pickup from Nesquik, they should have just backed up and said, we can't do this anymore, let's go, let's not waste more resources here. And at the end of the day, Nesquik was able to pick up 2 kills, and that's 2 kills more gold equals more items, which equals later game getting faster on the side of VPG, which means they're going to end up on top at the end of the day.
Yeah, when you don't have your AD carry with you, you're not going to be burning down the Baron that fast, especially when the people you do have with you are an AP mid laner, an AP jungler, and then a tank top laner, and a support with some shields. That's not going to be enough damage to burn down the Baron in the time you need, and Orianna cleans things up. They're going to try and get this blue buff to Miss Snow, and they do. That was actually a good transfer right there, because it could have been dangerous. McPoopstains might have had to smite. Hook just not missing right there, but this is Sion ult, and they're trapped in the scenario. Vi goes forward to stop it, but they might be in a tricky situation right now. Gets pulled back from the ultimate. McPoopstains ulting at the very last second with the Fiddlesticks ult is going to take down Thresh right there. Jumping away is Tristana, which is what she needs to do. Maokai should just keep pushing top. Go back to top right there, buddy. What are you doing? Yeah, force them back right there. Just keep pushing top. He does not have his teleport up just yet, but he needs to force the side of No Valentine Club back right now. If he keeps pushing top, he will force them back.
And it's not even just that, it's just the Fiddlesticks going back right now. And right at that point, he should be going back. He should be telegraphing, you know what, there's 4 mid. I can't keep pushing this in Hib Tower because they already set somebody back for me. I need to help defend with my team, but now he's finally realizing that, but will that be realized a little bit too late? Will they be able to pick up a mid lane tower on the side of Valentine Club?
I actually have to disagree with you there. I think Orianna and Tristana have more than enough wave clear to hold that turret. They don't have the wave. You send the Fiddlesticks back there, you keep Maokai up there, he's got the TP up in a few seconds. He's the one that can just continually shove that in. You can stop pushes by pushing other lanes against them. Maokai backing at the right time, getting away so they don't come and gank them there. But that mid lane push, you have more than enough wave clear with Tristana and Orianna, and they don't really have the jump in engage. They've burned all of their flash forward and ult shoot type spells. They don't have the same engage they did before. I think enough wave clear in mid lane. Keep that pushing in top, distract them with different waves pushing in. Just crash waves into their turrets and they'll be distracted on the map, and you can move around the map effectively there.
Yeah, and from there, I kind of want to look into the farming again. Look at the 80 carries. Tristana only has 182 farm to Sivir's 231. And if you look at their scores, Sivir actually has more assists and 1 less death than Tristana, an equal amount of kills, which means there is more gold on that Sivir, which means she was able to finish her 3rd item as well as boots before this Tristana. About 50 minions ahead of Tristana. That's very, very huge, and you can tell. Last Whisper already finished on her, and Tristana just trying to go for that Bloodthirster right now. But very sneaky play by VPG, trying to get some sort of pick here.
Yeah, they keep trying for that pick, which is a good idea, but you need to make sure you sweep and clear all that stuff. And as you were mentioning, the farm with the bot lane right there, Sivir started to pull back in farm after that initial Dragon Steel team fight there, the first one that happened in the beginning of the game. Tristana was super far ahead in terms of CS as well as kills, but what happened is Tristana was like, okay, I'm the only fed one on my team, I need to group mid and help my team out. Where Sivir was like, I'm not strong, I'm just going to chill bot lane and farm. So Janna's been chilling bot lane with Sivir for a lot of the game previous to this, just getting that farm back up, and we see right now, the scales have been tipped in the opposite direction, and like you mentioned, that last Whisper is a huge completion for Sivir because there is so much armor for the side of VPG Trinity. They have a Frozen Heart, almost Randuin's completed for Maokai right there, almost Randuin's completed for Vi there, and then there's the ult from Sion coming in, actually splits them, field goal for Sion. They're going to try and re-engage on top of that hook, misses from Thresh, but Vi goes straight in. There's the flash engage from McPoopstains. He ults himself, or he zonies himself rather, triple kill from Miss Snow. The Wombo combo follow-up so strong, Going to be chased down by Sivir here is Maokai. There is the boomerang, and it's going to be a 4-0 Thresh, the last person alive, excuse me. And now is when they can either push a Waven or turn to Baron. But Sivir is actually 1v1ing the Dragon right now. I don't know if I like that. She should just be going with her team there.
She does not have enough lifesteal, I feel like, to do it, but actually she is. She has the damage, but not the lifesteal. But good play, kind of going to objectives at once. Very good play. And I mean, something I want to talk about is VPG, since they're so behind, since, you know, their AD carry is so weak, and Annie has so much burst. If she's able to just get one Tibbers onto somebody, and then a little bit of a combo, maybe a Q or a W right after Tibbers QW or WQ, then that's enough burst damage to take down a whole team like we just saw there. And at that point, I feel like VPG should go with the split push strategy, or should go with a pick strategy. They do have the Thresh. I know they're kind of comps around team fighting, but at this point, since they aren't able to team fight safely enough, or actually be able to survive the initial burst from the other team, or just team fights in general, they should just be going for these picks, or be going for the split push kind of thing, and separate the team of Valentine Club, just so that they are able to have more kind of alive time or something.
One of the problems is that VPG Trinity is itemizing pretty much entirely for armor. They need to be itemizing for magic resistance. The fact that no one on their team is building or has built a Locket of the Iron Solari yet is absolutely mind-boggling to me. You have the ridiculous amount of damage coming out from Annie. Fiddlesticks has been ulting inside your entire team the whole time. Get some magic resistance. Sure, Sivir's doing a lot of damage, but if you have MR, you can kill Sivir, and then nobody else can do damage to you. There's the ult from Sion, and these Baroned up minions are going to make a huge turret dive here. There's Vi over the wall, but there's the Poop Stains as well, and he's going to be Fiddle ulting inside of everyone, and this should be a clean sweep for No Valentine Club. Fake Promise trying to do what he can, but they're going to grab this turret as well as the team fight. Flashing away is Janna after tanking the turret. Well executed by No Valentine Club, and Sion is more than content just to tank that turret. Flash away, does double tank to keep himself alive. Probably a smart idea. Last one on the team, and this will be a free inhibitor for No Valentine Club.
And actually, I don't think they have to stop here. I think they can actually end the game here. 15 seconds on Titan, which is Thresh, and, you know, one more second on that Vi as well. It's going to be very close, but at the end of the day, I think they can do it. Miss no being able to survive with that Zanya's, and it looks like they will be able to end the game here.
Yeah, they're just going to rush down this Nexus right here. Let's see if Thresh can try and make a play. There comes Vi as well, ulting Janna. Janna not doing any damage to the turret, though. And unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the game for VPG Trinity. I really would have liked to see some different itemization in their comp as well. Way too much armor, I feel, and Tristana needed either some magic resistance to not get blown up, or possibly a Last Whisper to deal with all of the armor coming out from No Valentine Club. I feel like there was a bunch of misplays, unfortunately, but not to take away from No Valentine Club, because they just pulled that off at the end of the game. They just turned things on, turned the Jets on, and finished that game 32 minutes.
Yeah, and that was just the fact of not just their rotations, but everything else as well. They knew when to team fight. Like you said, Sivir looked and she's like, oh wait, I can't team fight right now. I need to farm. So they went and they focused as a team, farm, farm, farm. And then they went back to team fight. They came out on team fights, and then they closed the game. And then VPG was like, wait, what's happening? We were just coming out on top of team fights. But they didn't look at their itemization, like you said, one, all towards the armor. But even though they were stacking armor, it wouldn't have mattered. Look, Yomu's on the side of Sivir's as well as the Last Whisper. That's enough armor pen to get through almost any armor on the side of VPG. And not just that, like we were talking about before, the Annie burst is so ridiculous. And she would have been able to burst down anybody. So no Locket of the Iron Solari or any magic resist on the side of VPG is what kind of killed them the game there, honestly.
Yeah, what you can do is just stack magic resistance. There's no sustained damage for the side of No Valentine Club except for Sivir. So you just lock down Sivir. You take away her spell shield with something. You can just throw everything you have, Twisted Advance, Vi ult, Thresh Hook, Orianna Ball, anything you have, burn down the Sivir. She's the only sustained damage. Then all you have to do is just defend against the Fiddle ult, the one combo from Annie, and no one else on their team does any damage, and you can win the fight after that. But unfortunately, their team comp was kind of built around the Wombo, and No Valentine Club did a great job of avoiding the Wombo and then jumping in with their Wombo of their own. Great front line from Sion, really, really strong play, and they'll be moving on into the semifinals. So thank you guys so much for watching and listening and playing and all that wonderful stuff. My name is Streeple, casting alongside Sword, and we'll be moving on to the next lobby very shortly. We are the Random Championship Series. Visit us at www.randomcs.com. Our Facebook is re.cs, our Twitter is @esportsrcs, and our twitch.tv is /Random Championship Series. Please give us a little follow there, bottom left-hand side. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be right back with the next game.
Peace for now.